Hey folks, Larson Halleck here, and welcome back to Failsons. We've talked a lot about athletics and fitness and things, but I don't think I've ever made it clear my attitudes towards professional sports. And my opinion is, I can take them or leave them. I don't really care for ball sports that much, but I do like watching combat sports, strongman competitions, Olympic weightlifting, and stuff like that. But even those I don't follow religiously. It's just, who has all that time to follow and slavishly worship another man's accomplishments? I don't. It seems like an elaborate form of cuckoldry, to be quite honest. And by the way, audience, if I ever end up being a guy who defines his personality based on a goddamn sports team, please shoot me in the head. But with that being said, I do like watching on occasion, even ball sports. But my definition of a watchable sport, or even a sport itself, should also be defined here. In the simplest terms, my definition of a sport is something that A, requires skill and some modicum of virtue, whether that virtue be strength, stamina, bravery, teamwork, mastery, or what have you, and B, gets your heart rate up for at least some amount of the playtime. If it doesn't fit those two criteria, it's not a sport in my eyes. Combat sports are sports. All the various types of football are sports, baseball is a sport, basketball is a sport. Those are obviously not the only sports, but many things that are considered sports are not sports in my eyes. Golf is not a sport in my eyes. Golf is a game. It requires a lot of skill, but it doesn't require any sort of cardiovascular fitness. Ditto for bowling, because any sport that you can win while drinking beer and eating nachos is not a goddamn sport. This goes quintuple for frisbee golf, or anything involving frisbees. If it involves frisbees, it's not a sport. Have you ever seen Frolf on TV? No. And they used to have darts on TV, for God's sake. Darts is also not a sport. But what is the lamest sport, you might ask? Hold your horses there. Video games are certainly not a sport, although I've been known to sweat quite profusely after a few rounds of Metal Slug, but they do require skill, so as lame as esports are, they're not the lowest of the low. Stuffing ferrets down your pants is also not a sport, because it does not require much in the way of skill, but I will admit it does require some amount of virtue, and it will certainly get your heart rate up. So I would actually put it higher than esports, but it's still not really a sport. But no, to look at the lamest of sports, we need something that requires no athleticism at all, no skills other than being a twitchy dork, and it serves only to reaffirm already existing virginities and regain virginities that were once lost. We're talking about professional laser tag. Yes, this is a thing that exists. And it's not like airsoft or paintball or anything, it's somehow even lamer than those. I have no idea how this devolved into the utter abomination that it is, but if I had to guess, it's the brainchild of a bunch of disaffected middle-aged men who never lived up to the limitless potential their mommies said they had, and who at some point watched the movie Equilibrium and thought, gee, that gun kata looks really cool. Well kids, this is the real gun kata. You thought it would be kung fu plus guns. It ended up being two pot-bellied losers holding guns at awkward 45-degree angles above their heads and spasmodically. I haven't seen that Bear in mind, this is the World Championships here, and there's like 20 people spastically clapping for this nonsense. An entire room of athletes, none of whom I think could run a mile in under 15 minutes. Oh, and one of these dweebs calls himself Cyber Wolf, because of course he does. And the other guy is Bodhi Lee, spelled wrong, that should be B-O-D-H-I. Bodhi means awakened, as in Buddhist enlightenment. Which is funny because I'm not entirely sure that this man has woken up before noon in the past 20 years. Again, I don't know how you even conceive of playing laser tag like this. Like, did they run some kind of sabermetric statistical analysis and come to the conclusion that this is the optimal way to play laser tag? The last time I played laser tag was when I was about 11 years old at my friend James's birthday party. I can safely assure you that if I or anyone else did this, they would have gotten their asses whipped. Competitive team tag is nothing like birthday party laser tag. Apologies to those whose fantasy style play was ruined by this. That is taken verbatim from the YouTube video of the Lasertron 1v1 championship. Yes, people, they actually think they have something to brag about here. Yeah, man, we're not like those little kids playing at birthday parties. We're real athletes. And there's more. Believe it or not, people, these two dorks are not the only people who have conceived of playing laser tag in the worst possible way. Our Antipodian friends down under have come up with this brainchild too. And of course, because Australia has to one-up us, it's a three-way fuck scramble.
Let's go!
This skinny dude is way too into it. Like, I think we might have to move the furniture out of the way because this guy is probably having a grand mal seizure. Like, I'm sorry, what is this little shimmy here? So to answer my previous question about whether all competitive laser tag devolves into epileptic orgies, watching a 2017 tournament, I can see a combination of things. The teams start off as normal, and they attempt to capture the flags, but when the combatants see each other, the shit goes down. And by the shit, I of course mean twitching and hopping, baby's first taekwondo spar. And people, I want to reaffirm here, listen to the music in the background of these videos that people are proudly posting on their YouTube channels. They're proud of this. They think they're doing just the coolest shit ever. Then again, I'm coming to the conclusion you kind of need obnoxious butt rock in these videos, because without it, you're left with the overwhelming silence of a bunch of pathetic man-children in noisy plastic armor and plastic guns, clickety-clacking their way into perma-virginity. Yeah, that sound you hear is my soul dying. Also, fun fact, if you look up these matches, they'll say LOR. That's the name for 1v1 laser tag, Lord of the Rings. As a big fan of Tolkien's work, I have to say that this is the lamest possible combination of activity and name I can imagine. Like, M1 medieval LARP combat is infinitely cooler than this. Hell, the professional wrestler Lasertron was cooler than this, and that guy would later go on to be a turkey. Most of the websites I've seen for this seem to stop around 2010, but apparently it's still a thing, and in 2020, an all-woman team won a tournament, the first ever to do so. Good for them, I suppose. It shows that men no longer have a monopoly on making asses of themselves in public, twitching and hopping all about like dogs that need their anus glands palpated. I've said it before and I'll say it again. A major part of being a Failson is buying plastic crap. And this is the crappiest of plastic crap. It's a sport involving plastic crap and spastically flailing about wearing your plastic crap and then deluding yourself into thinking you're an athlete whilst wearing plastic crap. You know, I'm sorry. I'm going to say this as somebody who was bullied substantially as a child, but even I want to bully these people. Just, I hate this super anal retentive min-maxing style of playing a children's game, sucking all the fun and joy out of it. This is Tim Ferriss winning a Sancho Kung Fu tournament by shoving people off the lei tai rather than actually learning martial arts. This is a Little League baseball coach teaching his players to make the opponent cry so they can walk the bases and cheese their way to victory, and yes, I have read reports of this happening. This is like a jiu-jitsu competitor starting a tournament on his back. This is the epitome of sabermetric bullshit that is turning all sports into a bunch of dorks analyzing statistics to gain a fraction of an edge and rob the game of any fun or artistry. It's turning all sports into YouTube speedrunners. So in analyzing how to fix this, I can think of two prongs of attack. One is to fix the sport, and the other is to fix the pathetic man-babies doing the sport. First of all, ban the twitching and hopping. Have a referee break up anything that looks like this, put them back in their corners, and restart play. Is it wrong of me to feel that 1v1 laser tag should be more like a sniper duel than two cats fighting over a can of tuna fish? I mean, hell, do a quick draw duel if you want to get it over with quickly. And as for the chugheads who play this game, take a good long look in the mirror, gentlemen. Question what you've done with your life. Do you want this to be your legacy? I'm Larson Halleck, and what else can I really say about this? And now, a word from our sponsors. Hello, are you a fan of Larson Halleck and the Barbaric Gentleman? Of course you are, otherwise you wouldn't be watching. Would you like to help the channel grow? Here's how you can. You can go to patreon.com and pledge some money, joining the ranks of the illustrious heroes you'll find at the end of the video. You can also go to paypal.me/LarsonHalleck to give me some money, or you can follow me on social media, at Larson Halleck on Twitter and Instagram. I don't use right-wing grifter sites like Gab and Parler because they suck. You can also buy my books. The links to do so are in the video description. And of course, please subscribe and spread the word. That name again is Larson Halleck, and I hope you enjoyed the video.